Hi guys, welcome back to the Social Tune, and today we're going to be discussing the latest album by Jaime Wyatt, Felony Blues.
My credit is spiral. I'll pay you back tomorrow if I get over this big weight. Whoa, time holds still at the Stone Hotel.
Okay, let's just address the elephant in the room right out the gate, shall we? Yes, the artist that I'm going to be talking about today is an ex-con, who apparently did time after beating up her drug dealer. Now, some of you may think that because of this, I should refuse to cover her album. After all, I boycott Chris Brown at pretty much every opportunity, but the differences are actually pretty clear. For one, Chris Brown has not learned his lesson and has continued to be an utter douchebag to pretty much everyone around him, while Jaime Wyatt, meanwhile, is now clean. And for another, from what I heard, the reason that she actually started making music was because she couldn't get a job elsewhere. And having faced unemployment in the past, I can definitely sympathize with that. Plus, it doesn't hurt that while diving through her past discography, I discovered that she is a great artist, with a knack for songwriting, fantastic hooks, and a great voice. So when I heard she was going to be releasing a new album this year, I had to check it out. Which was when I noticed the track list, which is only 7 tracks long. And on top of that, 2 of the songs on this album were from her 2015 project From Outer Space. And on top of that, the final song, Misery and Gin, is actually a cover of the Merle Haggard song of the same name. So in other words, this promised to be a short and sweet project, much like a mixtape but more refined. And as it happens, it's fantastic. This album is organic, beautifully and sharply written, catchy, well-paced, it's just wonderful. So let's kick things off with the production.
And I'm going up to Wasco, I say. Going up to Wasco, come graduation day.
Now, one reason why this album really does work for me is that Jaime Wyatt is playing with a sound that I really do love. Richly organic and melodic country, but with a definite bite to it, which gives us some truly amazing instrumentals, like the drums, pedal steel, bass, and electric guitars that open up the album on Wishing Well, with some truly incredible sizzle to the production. And on top of that, the hook on this song is so catchy, although with that said, it might just be the least catchy song on this album. Like, take the following track, Your Loving Saves Me, with the piano touches on the verses giving it a western pub vibe that I really did love, on top of a stomping groove that really was infectious, not to mention that guitar solo that comes in on the bridge. You get the same stomping groove on the incredibly catchy songs Wasco and Stone Hotel, which also had some great fiddle, which added a great melodic touch that I really did adore. But of course, this album also has its quieter songs, like the absolutely gorgeous guitar ballad Giving Back the Best of Me, or the phenomenal swell that backs up her heartbreaking performance on Misery and Gin, to the point where it's honestly better than the original, which I know is sacrilege, but yeah, that's just how it is. But as pretty much anyone will tell you, the highlight comes on From Outer Space, which, despite being one of the carryovers from that 2015 project of the same name, is honestly the best space-themed love song that I've heard since probably David Bowie's Space Oddity. It's just so incredibly atmospheric and gorgeous with a steady beat, and the gorgeous blend of pedal steel, fiddles, and pianos, that my jaw literally dropped when first hearing it. No joke, it's that powerful. So with that loaded statement, let's discuss our frontwoman.
And if we're gonna need another hour, 'cause I got you and you know it. I'm giving back the best of me.
Okay, let's just get this out of the way. This may be the one element of the album that will take some people time to get used to. Don't get me wrong, Jaime is a phenomenal singer with a wonderful, rich voice, capable of conveying everything from the rage on Stone Hotel to the pain and sorrow on Misery and Gin effortlessly. But due to the genre she's in, it can occasionally be a bit difficult to make out what she's saying if you're not familiar with that genre. But trust me, have some patience, because once the melodies click for you and you start to focus on the lyrics and on her voice, you'll notice just what an incredible job she's doing across this project. From her more husky tones on Wasco, which gives the song some great flavor, to her more restrained vocals on Giving Back the Best of Me. which really did match the instrumentation phenomenally well. Really, the only song that I personally found a little difficult to make out at first was Wishing Well. And to be fair, the instrumentation on that track is so lush and busy that it's understandable while I didn't immediately focus on the lyrics. So this album seems to be 2 for 2, right? So are the lyrics where this album stumbles?
I'll try to be there when you call. Honey, it's a long way home from outer space.
Now, while many critics have said that this album doesn't really reflect that time she spent in prison, I can see a lot of these songs coming as a result of her time spent behind bars. Like take Your Loving Saves Me, which seems to be directed at her friends and family. While some people will immediately alienate that song for mentioning Jesus at all, if you look at the context, it actually shows that she's grateful that she can rely on her friends and loved ones in her times of need, which remember could be a big deal for her considering her past. Or take Stone Hotel and Wasco, which both directly reference prison life. And while the rage of getting put away on the former is fantastic, I was honestly more moved by Wasco, which tells the story of a girl who's dreaming about reuniting with her boyfriend after she's done her time. And I really do love the details on that song, like the fact that she knows she can't change him and that life with him will probably lead her back to prison in the end. But she doesn't care because they're in love. There's something so pure and human about that it really did put a huge smile on my face. Because after all, it's very easy for us to dehumanize convicts. Wishing Well, which details a path of chasing dreams and frequently failing, carries even more weight when you consider just how hard it can be for ex-cons to find work. Although of course what's great about that track, and really most of the tracks here, is that they also contain universal themes that anyone can relate to. Like take the love songs Giving Back the Best of Me or From Outer Space, filled with so much rich imagery and detail, one defiantly down to earth and the other, well, anything but. So in the end, what would I rate this album? Well, that's the tricky part, because while I do love every single second of this album, I do find myself wishing it were longer. If only this were, say, 10 minutes longer, this album would be perfect in my eyes. But as it is, it's still an extremely strong 9 out of 10, and yeah, it's bound to be one of my favorite albums of the year. I'm going to keep my eye on you from now on, Jaime Wyatt, because you really did impress me with this album. Fantastic job. So thank you guys for watching. If there are any other albums coming out in the next month or so, please post them in the comments or tweet them at me so I can listen to them and possibly review them. You'll find a link to my Twitter in the description. Feel free to follow me if you'd like. Please subscribe so you don't miss a thing, and until the next time, I'm Finn, and this is the Social Tunes signing off.